Hey folks, Saturday, August 15th. My name's James. I'm the president of the Edmonton Local of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers. And it's a beautiful day out here today. There's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, so I'll try and keep it short and sweet. So in national news, we've made a submission to the SDC, that's Employment and Social Development Canada. They started asking questions and looking for submissions about potentially changing labor code laws such as Section 107 and changing the way that arbitration and grievances happen, and a bunch of other things. If you want to read what CUPW submitted, go to cupw.ca. It's just on the bulletins. You'll click on it, and then there is a link to download the document, which is a PDF. It's a bit of an interesting read. It's a little bit dry too at the same time, but I'd like to hear your opinion on it. So in local news, we started off this week by having a shift bid consultation for the plant. There were representatives from a number of different sections there, mostly those who were affected. Not all sections had a representative, but those would be represented by myself and by the vice president for the plant. But I mean, largely it was just going back to the old schedule. We told them the new schedule was a bad idea, and I think they've realized that now. They just wanted to give it a try. So we're largely going back to the old schedule. There's been some changes, but nothing big. One of the big things that came out of this was that we want to take back the work on our dock of sorting to the individual locations on the lines for the cuss drivers. I don't know when this ended in Edmonton. I think it was back when they expanded the IMSS. There wasn't any room, and it just became not a job we were doing. I don't know how that came about or how it came around before my time. But in most other locations across the country, this work is done by PO4s. So last April, we served notice that we were going to end the past practice of allowing that to happen and retrieve our bargaining work. You can only end a past practice when a new contract comes into place. So now that that's happened, we want that to end. Unfortunately, the corporation didn't really investigate until it already happened. So we're probably going to have to grieve it. Now, to give them some credit, PCNR did investigate somewhat, and they said that there is traction on this idea as it's done elsewhere. So hopefully we'll get some more jobs out of that. Because right now all the mail is just going into monos, and then the cuss drivers show up and they sort to the individual stops on the line, whereas that should be done by our PO4s. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a study on how much time that takes, and hopefully the company will have an answer for us at the next shift bid consultation for January. So we're making progress there. Hoping to get a few more jobs out of it. We'll see how that works out. In addition to that, we asked that we would end the past practice of having the shunter be a contracted position, and bring that over to an MSC. So the corporation stores trailers on and off site to move it around to the dock, but they pay a contractor to move those. I don't know what they pay by the load, but it's probably less than they would pay an MSC by the hour. They said that there are only 3 locations that have in-house shunters, and that they really weren't interested in pursuing that. So, well, we've ended the past practice. We want to do that. I guess we'll just be filing grievances about that from this point on until either it's denied by the arbitrator or it's applied by the corporation. Special thanks to the VP of the plant, Steph. She's been doing a lot of the work on this, and I think she deserves accolades for that. So we'll keep going at it, and we'll hopefully have a better result for you in January. There were 2 other consultations that took place this week, Thursday and Friday. Those are the consultations about the restructures at Depot 2 and St. Albert. Our restructure team has been doing a fantastic job. It's just been overwhelming this year. The number of restructures as the corporation is doing is incredible. We're basically doing all the facilities this year. And I mean, they've timed it specifically to come with to do the volume counts immediately after the longest, or even during the longest labor disruption this company's ever had. So our volumes are low. And we can already see those volumes are turning. Even the parcel volume was 154% of what it was last year during the volume count, which was done several months ago. But it's still nothing compared to what it was, say, the last count that they did for all of these routes. So we're basically going to be stuck with these oversized routes, and then as the volumes increase, we're going to be in a situation where we can't manage it. It's already to the point where we can't manage it. The routers are failing downtown. They're failing at Rosedale. The routers at Mayfield just outright refuse to resort any mail, as they should, because it's a violation of our contract. But anyway, our team is doing a fantastic job. They are definitely holding Canada Post's feet to the fire. There are stacks of corrections that they're going to be insisting on, and changes and investigating time values, that sort of thing. And they're doing a really, really great job. But that being said, they're up against overwhelming odds. The volumes that they're producing, the numbers, the recorded volumes from the volume count are lower than they were the last restructure. And because of that, the total losses that we're going to end up having will be 1 position out of St. Albert, and I believe it was 7 positions out of Depot 2. All of these people have positions to go to, save 1. Basically, they'll be held as interim positions. They'll be put in those positions across the city, and then they will be allowed to bid on the monthly bid when that comes up. There is one person, however, will be in a position that's referred to as NRTO, which is not required to operate, but Article 53 still guarantees them work. So this person will have to be in an office. They'll be assigned to an office, I suspect, and kept around to help out, basically an extra relief. But they still need to be paid. So Article 53, it's a good thing. Your union has fought for that, so you have job security, and that's where this place comes in. But again, our route measurement team is doing a fantastic job, but they're up against some tough odds. We're starting to move on our plans for fighting back against CMBs. Currently, we're starting a training session, mostly for the members out of Rosedale, although there have been some other volunteers, on how to talk to people in public, and how to communicate the idea that we want to communicate. And we'll be doing that next Saturday. If you really want in on that, email me at the office. We will be expanding this as we go. And the intention here is to basically speak to people and have them sign on to a petition demanding a public public inquiry into the post office, because right now the Liberal government is not doing that, and they don't want to do it because the last time they did it in 2015, it told them what people really wanted, and it wasn't what the Liberal government wanted, because what people wanted was expanded postal services. They wanted better postal services, but what the Liberal government wanted was to get rid of us, and that put a hold on the system. Here we are back again, trying to bring in the CMBs so they could eventually contract them all out, because no contractor is going to go door to door, but they'll definitely deliver to CMBs. In the meantime, they're not expanding the post office to make it profitable. They're saying that CMBs will save them $400 million a year. Well, you can make a lot more money out of postal banking. Or you can increase the price of a stamp by 20 cents. Same difference. But they want to get rid of us. It's just the way it goes. But anyway, keep your chin up. We're still fighting. Have a good weekend.